Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Got a new video for you today, and this is a trick called Clockwise. And it's an interactive trick, which means if you guys are watching this at home or wherever you are, you get to kind of play along and be a part of the magic trick. So what I need you to go get before we start is a pen or a pencil and a piece of paper. Doesn't have to be a big full-size piece of paper, it can just be a little scrap or something, but I'm gonna have you write something down when we start. I don't want you to forget it, so pause the video if you have to, go get a little piece of paper, something to write with, and come on back. Now I've got with me here on the table a clock, a little paper clock that I made. I've got a deck of cards as well, but I'm actually not going to use the whole deck. I'm really just going to use one card in particular, and it's actually this card, the Joker. Now, before I started filming here, I took the Joker, and on the back I drew a little question mark with a black marker. And I can pass this around. It really is just a normal Joker with a question mark on the back. And I could even have somebody else draw this if I wanted. I just did it myself to save time, but I could have anybody else take a marker and draw the question mark however they would like. And you'll notice there's also a question mark here in the center of my clock. Kind of matches the one on the Joker here. And this Joker, this mystery Joker, is going to help us out with this trick. And again, I could pass this around, let people check out the Joker, draw the question mark themselves if they would like. But this mystery Joker is going to be very important for this trick, and we'll put him right there in the center of the clock. Now what I'm going to have you do throughout this video is you're going to be moving around the clock from number to number in different directions, and hopefully we can make a magic trick out of that. So to start off with, I want you to focus on any one of the numbers on this clock. Pick your favorite one, pick a random one, but just think of any number on this clock. You can even put your finger on the screen on that number if you'd like. Now whatever number you've settled on, what I want you to do is to count that number around the clock, either clockwise or counterclockwise. So for example, let's say you started on number 7. You can either count 7 spaces this way to land on 2, or you could count 7 spaces the other way and land on 12. So whatever number you're on right now that you started with, count that number one direction or the other, and you'll probably land on a brand new number. So go ahead and take a minute and make those moves. Now whatever this new number is that you landed on, I want you to write that number down on your piece of paper. So in my example, if I started on number 7 and I chose to count this way, for example, I landed on 2, I would write down 2 on my piece of paper. So whatever this kind of new number is that you move to, write that number down on your paper. And once you've done that, you can put the paper aside for now. We'll use it a little bit later. Now, like I said, you're going to be moving around the clock, different directions, and as we go, I'm going to be getting rid of some numbers. See, my job is to try to guess the numbers that you're not thinking of. I'm going to try to get rid of the numbers that your finger is not on, and hopefully I won't eliminate the number that you've stopped at. So to start off with, I'm going to get rid of 2 numbers right off the bat. Again, you guys have barely moved. You started on one number, you counted to a totally different number, and just like that, I'm going to get rid of a couple numbers before we go further. So I'm going to get rid of the 11 here. Hopefully you're not on the 11. And I'm going to get rid of the 9 as well. Hopefully you were not thinking of the 11 or the 9. Now, as you count, as you move around the clock, you have to just move to wherever there's a number. You can't move to an empty space. So for example, let's say you're on the 7 and you're counting this way. You would count to 8, then to 10, then to 12, then 1. You would just count to the next number, of course. So with that, we'll keep going. So what I want you to do is whatever number you're on right now, I want you to pick either clockwise or counterclockwise and move that number. So if you're on 2, you can either move 2 this way or move 2 this way. Go ahead and make those moves now, one direction or the other. And once you've done that, I'm going to eliminate another number. I'm going to trust that you are not currently on the 5. So we'll eliminate the 5. And we'll do it again. Whatever number you're on right now, make that number of moves clockwise or counterclockwise, one direction or the other. Go ahead and make those moves. And once you've done that, I'm going to get rid of not 1, but 2 more numbers again. I'm going to eliminate the 6, and I'm also going to hope that you're not currently on the 1. It's just like that, 5 numbers eliminated. Hopefully you're still sticking around. Hopefully your finger is still on one of these numbers. Same thing, whatever number you've stopped at, make that number of moves clockwise or counterclockwise, and go ahead and make those moves now. And once you've done that, we'll get rid of 1 more. Look these over here, and yeah, you're definitely not on the 2, so we'll get rid of the 2. We'll keep going, about halfway there right now. Whatever number you're on, count clockwise or counterclockwise that number. Go ahead and make those moves now. After you've done that, it's getting a lot harder as we go on, but I'm going to hope that you're not on the number 10. So we'll get rid of the 10. Now at this point, you might be thinking that you caught on to me. You might be thinking that this must be some kind of mathematical trick where all the numbers on the clock, maybe work out in just a certain way where I always know what number you're on. It's absolutely not true. I have no idea what number you're on right now. And to prove it, the next round we're going to count a little bit differently. So I'm still going to have you pick clockwise or counterclockwise, but instead of counting the number you're on, here's what I want you to do. Whatever number you're on right now, I want you to count the number of letters in that word, in the spelling of that number. So for example, if you're on the number 3 right now, you wouldn't move 3 times. Instead, you would count T-H-R-E-E for 3, and you would move 5 times, clockwise or counterclockwise. It's totally up to you. If you were on the 12, for example, you wouldn't count 12 times. You would count T-W-E-L-V-E, and you'd count 6 times, one way or the other. So whatever number you're on right now, spell that number and make that number of moves. I'll give you a second to make those moves. And once you've done that, I'm going to be bold and get rid of 2 numbers again. I'm going to get rid of the 4. Hopefully that wasn't you. And I'm going to get rid of Definitely the 12. With that, we're down to 3 numbers. And hopefully you're sticking around. Hopefully I have not gotten rid of your number yet. Now in a minute, I'm going to have you count one final time. But before you do, let me explain what I'd like you to do. Again, you're going to make the number of moves that corresponds to the number you're on. So if you're on 3, you'll make 3 moves. If you're on 7, you'll make 7 moves. If you're on 8, you'll make 8 moves. But what I want you to do is I want you to pull out that piece of paper that you had at the beginning. If you remember way back at the beginning, I had you write a number down, the number that you landed on. And that number is going to tell us what direction you're going to count. So I want you to look at the number that you wrote down, the number that you randomly landed on. If that number is odd, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, or 11, I want you to count and make your moves clockwise, either 3, 7, or 8. If this number that you wrote down is even, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, or 12, I want you to make your moves counterclockwise, this direction. Again, 3, 7, or 8. So again, if the number you wrote down, the random number, was odd, count 3, 7, or 8 clockwise. If the number you wrote down was even, count 3, 7, or 8 counterclockwise. Go ahead and make those final moves when you're ready. And just like that, you have landed on one final number, a number that neither of us could have known that you were going to land on when you started. Now, if you remember, you started on any number you wanted, totally free choice. You counted to a new number. You kept counting around the clock, different directions. I gave you choices of which direction to count. And you counted in all these random ways. And you've settled, hopefully, on one of these final numbers still on the clock. Now, at this point, I have no idea where you are. But I'm going to call upon the help of our mystery joker, our question mark joker that we had at the very beginning of the trick. See, he's been in the middle of the clock the entire time, and he knows exactly where you've landed. See, all it takes is a snap, and our mystery joker has turned into the 3. And hopefully that 3 is exactly where you have ended up, right here on number 3. So that trick is called Clockwise. It's an interactive trick. Got a lot more interactive tricks to come, so stay tuned for those. And this should have worked for you. If you followed everything correctly, you should have landed on the 3. If not, go back and watch again. Maybe you misheard something, or something happened along the way, and maybe you took a wrong step or something. But hopefully you ended up right there on the 3. So this one was called Clockwise. Hopefully you guys liked it. Hopefully it worked for you. And appreciate you guys watching. I know it was kind of a long video again, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Appreciate you watching this video and all the others. And stay tuned for more.